And could you tell me what your involvement is here at the Cancer Agency?
I'm a volunteer. I work as patient support in the chemo room.
And I understand that you've had cancer yourself.
Yes, I did. Throat cancer.
Okay, so could you tell me a little bit about, as a cancer patient, how the therapy dog program helped you?
Well, I went through radiation every day for 37 days, plus 3 sessions of chemo. And during that process, there wasn't a lot to be happy about. I mean, this is a very cheerful place, but there's a lot of days that I was really not in a very good spot emotionally and physically. I was pretty sick. But when the dogs come in, and there's several dogs that came in, because I was here every day, I'd see different dogs, and I would go from pain to smiling ear to ear. And it's so great being a volunteer, you know, because I still get to see the dogs. But as a patient, you sort of reach out for anything that will bring you joy and hope and happiness. And dogs, I think, are just such an important part. They were an important part of my therapy, and continue to be. So.
And as a throat cancer patient, obviously that affects your vocal cords.
Yes, it does.
So how does interacting with a dog become so important? I imagine it's quite difficult to talk to humans, and you don't have that same problem with dogs.
I wasn't even really able to swallow during my treatment. It's just typical of that type of cancer. So I couldn't do a lot of talking, but when you see a dog, you don't even have to talk. It's just that closeness of petting them and having some dog to sort of share your love, because I love animals, and I've always loved dogs. So when I see a dog, it takes my mind off it, and it allows me to be a kid again. So I guess that's what dogs do. I think they bring the kid out in all of us.
And it's quite emotional seeing you interacting with the dogs.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think it goes back to childhood. I mean, you either like dogs or you don't. And I think most people like dogs, and everybody I know does. But having a dog is, you may not have any friends in the world as a kid. You may be shy. You may feel awkward around people. But a dog will take away all your inhibitions and just free you as a person. And I think it's probably the first person, other than your parents, that you fall in love with, is a dog. At least for me, it was.
And can you talk a little bit about what you've witnessed here with the program?
I've seen in the chemo room, we have 30, 40 patients a day, and in different periods of the treatment. And when the dogs come in, and I'm not stretching this, the smiles go from face to face on every single patient. And that's something that, I mean, we all try to be cheerful, and the nurses and the doctors and the admins are all very, very cheerful. This is a very positive place. But the dogs take it to a new level. And it doesn't matter whether they come in the chemo room or just in the reception area or down the radiation department, dental department, because they take them everywhere. And everybody, it just seems to add a little excitement in the area where they are. So, yeah.
And if you could sum up in one sentence why you think this program is so important, what would you say?
It makes people better, emotionally.
And have you got any other examples of what you've witnessed as a volunteer?
Well, I really can't think of a specific example, but I know that when I see the dogs, it makes my day, and every patient I've seen, it really seems to make their day too. A lot of people don't have dogs at home, and for whatever reason, maybe they can't have them, but here they can bring the childhood out and be with a dog, and I think that's a treasure. It's just a wonderful program.
And a lot of people don't realise that organisations like St John's fund this programme. What would you say to people to help raise awareness of St. John's for this?
Well, I quite frankly, I was surprised that St. John's Ambulance actually funded this program, and I can't think of a better program to fund. And I would certainly, it's something that I contribute to because of it. I think it's a very worthwhile program, and it's not something that people see as the St. John's program. They're a silent provider, I guess, because the dogs don't come around saying, I'm from St. John's Ambulance, and they're just people coming in with dogs. And, so yeah, I think it's a wonderful program. I think it's a program that really benefits from the generous contributions of the public, because it supports a very worthwhile program. And I'm going on and on, but I'm just I'm a big fan.
And why would you encourage people to donate to St. John's?
To support programs like this. In the healthcare, it seems, it just more and more people need healthcare because the baby boomers like myself are getting sicker, and we can't rely on the government to come up with every single program. So when you have organizations like St. John's offering this dog program, which like I said, I think it's a wonderful program, and training it and providing resources so that there can be a dog program, I think it really, really benefits the healthcare. It certainly helped in this facility. I think it really adds a dimension in the patient's treatment. That's critical, and I just think wonderful.
Perfect.